Hello, I'm back. I did it on purpose. No, I didn't. Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So, tonight, let's talk about two different things. Number one, shocking testimony by Caroline Ellison about SBF and his original plans for Bitcoin. And he had other plans too. So let's talk about that. And also, let's talk about the plans of Powell, Fed Chair Powell. What is he going to do about rates? So let's talk about these two things and more. All right, let's do this. Welcome, guys. Sorry, I was on mute. Don't know why. And I was grabbing my market bell for no reason. It's there's no market opening right now. But the U.S. market ended in green today, surprisingly. Okay, and pre-market for tomorrow's looking green. So what are Fed Chair Powell's plans? Well, today the Fed minutes came out, and tomorrow we're going to get a big CPI reading. But today the Fed minutes came out, and Powell thinks that we'll see restrictive policy for some time until inflation eases, right? But he and the rest of the governors did not seem to think that another rate hike was completely necessary, although most thought that, yeah, we should have one, but it's not guaranteed. It's not like they're all writing it, on paper that, yeah, we're going to have another rate hike for sure the next FOMC meeting. They're kind of like, yeah, let's just wait and see, although maybe one more is necessary, right? So they want to see what happens between then and now. So tomorrow we will get another CPI reading in the United States. So here are the estimates, right? So we're not trending downwards or not trending upward, just a little bit. I believe we're at like 3.4% or something. So we may go up slightly to 3.5 or 3.6%. And if we stay within this range, it'll be fine. But if tomorrow's inflation comes out to be like 4%, or something, yeah, we're going to see a nasty, nasty drop tomorrow. So hopefully that doesn't happen, right? But here's the thing. I've been reminding you guys, okay, this situation with inflation, even though Powell's fighting it hard and all the central banks around the world are fighting inflation hard, so to speak, but are they really doing anything? I don't know. I mean, look at this. Look at this. We accrued another $40 billion worth of debt today. Our national debt has jumped up by $550 billion in the last 3 weeks. What is going on? This is way above the pace of $2 trillion expected by the government. The last time we had a debt ceiling raise was 2 years ago, right? And basically, we hit $2 trillion in debt within 2 years, which is bad. So we accrued like $1 trillion debt per year. But right now, we're going up at an astronomical rate, okay? And that's because we have no debt ceiling. So how are we accruing so much debt every single day now? We will be plus 10 trillion by the end of this next year, right? My point is this. It's not getting better. It's only going to get worse. And I can't get my mind past this. The debt situation is dire, okay? It's very, very dire. Who's buying all of our bonds right now, right? Who's buying them all up? And how are we going to pay these back? And how are we going to pay the interest owed on these bonds? That's in excessive of $1 trillion now per year. It's not going to end well, right? So that's why, going back to inflation, even though it seems like Fed Chair Powell and his restrictive policy is working sort of, but is it really? Long term, the answer is no. There's nothing the central bank or any banks out there can do when the government keeps on printing money and accruing more debt. I mean, you can't fight that. You can't fight it. Well, I take that back. You could fight it by buying Bitcoin. That's how you fight it, right? You opt out. You opt out of money. You opt out of fiat and you go into something better, an asset like Bitcoin that doesn't inflate like fiat and is decentralized, isn't controlled by any Fed chairman or any central bank, right? So that's how you opt out. So that's number one. What will Powell do? Unknown right now. Tomorrow's inflation reading will be a big tell of what he may do the next FOMC meeting that's coming up in November. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, a lot of damning testimony came out today, okay, from Caroline Ellison, SBF's ex-girlfriend. Now, this is not the most flattering picture. But, you know, who knows? After a case of Bud Light, you know, you may think otherwise. But a lot of things came out that are somewhat shocking. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, here's one. They wanted to keep Bitcoin under $20,000, right? So they conspired and they sold off customer funds, Bitcoin, to try to artificially suppress Bitcoin under 20,000. They don't really explain why. Maybe because they wanted to drop the market so much so they could buy back at lower prices, right? Don't really know. But remember when Bitcoin fell from 64,000 all the way down to 28,000 and back up to 69,000? It makes you wonder why that happened, right? Was it because FTX and SBF, they wanted it to happen? They were causing some kind of market suppression, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot more of this will be coming out. And it's not just that. They said the same thing with FTT tokens too. They were actively trading it to try to defend the peg when prices dropped, right? Remember when the whole thing collapsed, FTX collapsed, FTT tokens were still somewhat strong. We're like, how does that make sense? It doesn't, right? Because, you know, you had these guys trying to save it and doing all these things, all these shenanigans. So yeah, that came out today. But that's not the only thing that came out today. I mean, she said a whole lot of stuff today. Also, the target they wanted to take down was Binance. Okay, one of her to-do lists was to get her, or SBF, to get the regulators to crack down on Binance, right? Makes you wonder. You know, Kevin O'Leary, spokesperson for FTX, paid a lot of money, and he was the main guy to point fingers at Binance, right? Makes you wonder if they have something on Mr. Wonderful, because he continues to do so, right? But it came out that this is the reason why. Because that was their biggest competition, Binance. If they could take them down, then of course, who becomes number one? FTX, right? So that was another duty of hers to basically take down Binance, right? And they are still being investigated right now. I'm not saying it's all due to FTX. You know, maybe CZ and Binance did some things they weren't supposed to, but this was definitely one of the things that they were doing and targeting, right? So that also came out. What else came out? Well, previously, Gary Wang, who was the CTO of FTX, also said that Caroline and Alameda has special privileges. In fact, they could go below zero. They can maintain a negative balance because they could just take out whatever they wanted, okay? No one else could do that besides Alameda Research. And Caroline says it's because SBF wanted her to do that. There was a lot of things she didn't want to do, but SBF kind of forced her to do, and this was one of those things, right? Okay, that sounds pretty bad, right? But that's not all. I mean, she said a lot of stuff today. SBF is also charged with bribing the Chinese government. Supposedly it was 40 million, but she came out and said it was 100 million. And the reason being, the Chinese government froze $1 billion of FTX's money. Okay? And they didn't know how to get it back. So SBF met someone that said, hey, if you send me 10%, $100 million, we'll get that $1 billion unlocked in no time. Okay, so it sounds like they did send $100 million. So yeah, so there's that too, right? 100 million of money they didn't have. This is from the customer funds, right? So I mean, there was a lot of damning things that came out. And lastly, SBF, when he was desperate, he wanted to sell FTX to a Saudi crown prince. Basically when it seemed like the end was near, right? But, this kind of shows you who SBF is. He had ambitions to be president. He wanted to he considered paying off Trump from running because he wanted to become president. He also definitely tried to suppress the market, right? We had a lot of weird up and downs in 2021, right? It was all to him. And we still haven't heard about who crashed Luna, who depegged Luna to cause CryptosRus to go down, to cause all these other companies, CeFi companies to go down. Was also due to FTX and SBF and Caroline, right? Probably. They're the only ones that had enough ammunition and were crazy enough to do so, right? So they're accused of market manipulation. So Caroline basically agreed. They pointed the fingers at Binance to try to get rid of competition, okay? They had special privileges, which no firm should have. Okay, they bribed Chinese officials, and then they tried to dump it to some Saudi prince, and I'm glad. I think they're glad that they didn't go through with it. But anyways, I mean, that just shows you. This is just like, day 4 of the trial or day 3 of the trial. There's going to be a lot more coming out. And SBF, I don't know. He's going to be getting like 500 years in jail. Like, I just don't see how he's going to get out of this unless he has the best lawyers on the planet, which he may. But yeah. All right. What else is there? Well, let's talk about some Bitcoin. Let's talk about some good stuff. Long-term holders like you and I have been buying up to 1.35 billion in Bitcoin each month. Each and every month, okay? 50,000 Bitcoins per month. This is the reason why. I keep stating no one's selling Bitcoin. Long-term holders are here because we all understand what Bitcoin's about, okay? And that is the reason why, look at this. Total supply held by long-term holders, around 15 million, okay? What does that mean? Close to 80%. Close to 80% of Bitcoin is being held by long-term holders, right? Absolutely fantastic. We're at an all-time high right now in terms of how much Bitcoin is being held by Bitcoin. And of course, the long-term holders are not stopping. We keep on DCAing. We keep buying more Bitcoin, right? Again, supply and demand. Demand is still holding, although not as high as the bull market, but still holding quite well. And supply is diminishing. But wait until demand starts rising up in 2024 and 2025, but demand still drops, right? I mean, supply keeps dropping. So, it's just a matter of time the price starts heading higher. But the fundamentals of Bitcoin has never, ever been better than now, and it's thanks to you guys, the long-term holders that believe and keep on accumulating. It's just, that's what it comes down to, right? We got, of course, a lot of good things happening. Ark just updated their spot Bitcoin ETF application. The SEC actually sent back some comments and questions, right? So they're answering and updating it. So it does seem like the SEC wants to play ball because, I don't know, because they have no choice. They really have no reason to delay spot Bitcoin, or not just delay, deny spot Bitcoin ETFs, right? So that's encouraging. That's very encouraging. And then here's something else that's also very encouraging. You know, with fractal patterns, you have to you have to treat it with a grain of salt. Sometimes you can match patterns very, very closely. But this one is uncanny. If you look at the 2014 to 2016 cycle versus the cycle that we're in right now, right? They're not identical, but they rhyme very closely. You see the 3 peaks on the side, on the left side, right? And then you see that bottom point, that accumulation point. You see the breakout point, right? The 200 plus day point. And we're at that point where Bitcoin should be ticking up. So will we follow it? Will we follow this pattern? Maybe. Maybe not, right? But right now is definitely time to be bullish on Bitcoin. And I know sometimes it's hard to believe that. You know, there are volatility. Still, there are volatility days, weeks, months sometimes. Like today, Bitcoin fell down a little bit. I get it. It's fearful, right? But when in doubt, zoom out. Know that Bitcoin has been through this before. We're mimicking previous movement from previous cycles. And if you truly understand what Bitcoin is about and understand what's coming up in 2024, the halving year, and what comes after that, then you will have no fear as well. That's it. That's it. All right. Let's do some Q&A, and tonight is DCA day. It's Wednesday night, I think. I'm not that drunk yet. So, yeah, it is Wednesday. So I brought it up. Unfortunately, DCA is no good, or my DCA portfolio is no good because we went down a little bit. So let me log in here. It always logs me out. All right, so this 24 hours, we went down about 2%. Last week, we went down about 4.4%. So obviously, we went in reverse. We went in reverse, right? But here's the good thing about DCA. You actually get excited when you see prices go down, right? If you're a long-term DCA guy or gal, you get excited because you can bring your cost average down and you can buy more crypto with the same amount of money, right? So I've been doing $100 every single week. So this week, with everything down, you know, it's anything goes. You know, I could stock up more on Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. Ooh, there's so many good ones. So many good ones. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people are talking about Chainlink, right? And I'm kind of lightweight on Chainlink. I could put a little more into Chainlink, a little bit more into Solana. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split it 2 ways. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little Chainlink because there are a lot of people that's looking at Chainlink right now because of CCIP, which is really, really useful. And a lot of chains are starting to use it. So we'll do 6.849. Oops, 9 for Chainlink. So $50 in Chainlink, and let's put $50 in Solana. I've been hearing a lot about Solana. This morning I covered them. So 50, 21.598. So 2.315. All right. So this week, Solana and Chainlink. That's it. All right, let's do some Q&A. I saw some super chats tonight. Do the dishes. Hey, George, have a shot of that nasty Johnny Walker on me. Thank you. Johnny Walker. Depends on what. If you get like the red label, yeah, it's kind of nasty. Black label, kind of nasty. But blue label, quite good. Quite good. Before I saw Johnny 5, could she not afford plastic surgery in reference to Caroline? She didn't have time when she was, you know, listening to SBF and bang SBF at the same time. So I don't think she had money. She had time. She had the money. She didn't have time. OG asks, could you look at a chart CRO for a second? I like your opinion. It looks like if someone is keeping a price around 5 cents, this isn't the first time I noticed. Well, since you sent a large super chat, let's take a look. CRO. Let's check out Coinbase. Someone is suppressing it below 5 cents? No, not really. I mean, it's been trending down. It doesn't look like it's suppressed. It just looks like it's trending downwards. A lot of alts are trending downwards because people are trading them out for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is definitely the strongest right now. But there was definitely something fishy today. Look at that. Look at that pump. All the way up to 6 cents and then back down. Something. That's definitely a fake out wick. Some whale wanted people to buy in and then they dumped it on their heads. That's what happened today. All right. Let me scroll down. Marquise, couldn't get my money off KuCoin in time. Now I got a few grand stuck on exchange. Do you see this issue being resolved ever? Unfortunately, no. KuCoin will never allow KYC for U.S. citizens. I don't think that's going to happen. You could submit a ticket. Maybe they'll allow you to withdraw. You know, if you say that you can't do KYC, maybe. But you know, I don't think they're going to do KYC for U.S. residents. Did you know, man? Said I went Super Saiyan this morning. I don't know about that. Thoughts on Quant? Not a fan of Quant. They're B2B play, not for retail investors. So JRR says, don't talk smack about my girl. You see, there's someone for everyone. There's someone for everyone. John Kim, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're focused. A lot of people have left. A lot of people have, you know, have been discouraged long enough and they just left, right? But I'm here to help you guys get through this. We will get through this. So let's do it together. If George doesn't mention it, I don't believe it. Marlon, I don't know if that's a good motto. There are a lot of things I don't mention, but I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. You know, after like a case of beers, you know, that could look pretty tasty, you know. Just saying. Richard, what do you do with your first million that you made from crypto? You don't do anything. You just save it. Just because you made your first million doesn't mean that you just spend it all. Okay? You just keep it. And you go and make your second million. That's same thing. Like Bitcoiners, whole coiners, right? You make your first Bitcoin, what do you do with it? Do you spend it? No. You go and make a second one and a third one and fourth one, right? Yeah. Dabitola, nope, do not agree. Yeah, you know, even when I'm extremely, extremely, extremely drunk, like about to throw up drunk, I'm still gonna say no to this. Have I been working out? Yeah. Yeah, I have. The kids have been home a lot recently, so it's been harder for me to go to the gym, but I've been walking like a madman every single day. I'm really addicted to walking, but it's draining me every night before I sleep. I just like pass out because I'm so damn tired. But I think it's working. KBRC. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. George Clay says, George, I would never walk if I owned a Ferrari. No. Um, you know, it's I don't want to downplay it, right? But, you know, after you get it, a lot of the excitement, the the unbelievable moment, right? Like all that kind of fades away a little bit, right? Um yeah. I just found out I think I got a notice saying that I have to do my maintenance, and I've been dreading to do it because, with the Ferrari it's probably going to be a few $1,000s. But then the service manager called me and said, "Hey, you're covered under a 7-year maintenance plan." I'm like, "Really? Is it free?" Because that would be awesome. You're supposed to service it every year. And before, when I had my 360, I remember it was like $1,500. Even if you don't drive a lot, they just do like a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm hoping it's covered in that 7 years. Chance to bring back that South Park inspired video. It takes a lot of work, Johnny. That 3-minute video took like a week to do, so I have to ask the editor that did it whether they want to do it. Archon getting Joshua Jake. He does his homework. Charismatic. Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's about to put his video out tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Fantastic. Blockchain boy. People loved his first video. He's going to do a lot more like that. He is very, outspoken, I guess. And hopefully you get Jeb on. And I'm still scouting for good hosts, right? I want to make CRU Plus the greatest variety channel there is for entertainment. And then plus, fight night stuff, right? I'm going to create the greatest influence fighting club too, IFL, and I'm going to put all those content on CRU Plus too. CRU Plus will blow up in this next bull market. Maybe the greatest channel in this space. That's my mission. Do I have a G-Wagon? No, but that's gonna be my next car. I can't wait to get rid of my Model X. That thing has depreciated so badly. Once I get rid of it, I'm getting my G-Wagon. There's not going to be a bikini model contest on CRU Plus, okay? Oh yeah, today's the $1.7 billion Powerball. I did not grab any tickets. It's fun to imagine if I won the Powerball after taxes, after a lump sum, I think it was like 800 million. I would seriously consider putting like almost all of that into Bitcoin if I won, right? Because you could take out, let's say, 50 million of that, put in a bank, put or whatever, you know, some CDs or something, right? You could live off of that forever, of course, and your children and grandchildren are all taken care of. But that 750 million, right? You could do what Saylor did and just like put it all into Bitcoin, or no, not maybe not all in Bitcoin. A lot of it in Bitcoin, a lot of it spread out. I mean, I would do that. Pretty soon, a loaf of bread is going to be 500K. Hopefully not, right? But inflation is never, ever. You know how Powell used to say inflation was transitory? I didn't really understand it at the time, but we know that's false. And he also says a lot, we don't want inflation to be entrenched. I didn't quite understand what that meant either, but now I do. That means once the price of things, goods, services, houses go up, they stay up forever and they never come down. That's exactly what we have. Food is like double or triple the price from just 3 years ago. Is it ever going to go down to 2020 levels? No. Are houses going to go down to 2020 levels? No. Are watches and Ferraris going to go down to 2020 levels? No. Right? I mean, so the price, even though a little bit lower than peak, is still way higher than 2020. That's inflation or prices entrenched, basically, right? Because the best way to think about it is the prices are higher because the dollar is worth less. When we keep printing more money, of course, the value of dollar debases, right? And gets less valuable. So that means you need to spend more of it to pay for things, which is why they cost more, right? But that's why we have Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin appreciates the fastest, right? And if you doubt that, just zoom out a little bit and look at the last 5 years or 10 years, and then you realize that is 100% true. Do I live in a tax-free state? No. I wish I did, because then I can save like 5 or 6%, whatever the state income tax is. You could put 10 million to crypto tubers fighting empire. It's going to get there eventually anyways. I truly think this is going to be revolutionary and start something huge. The first fight is going to go off really good. I got a female influencer reaching out to me today saying she's in, 100% in. I'm trying to find her a match. So we'll have men and women. There'll be 8 matches for the very first fight. And it's only going to expand from here. It's going to be the talk of the town. How much do orange juice go up in the United States? I mean, I have not bought orange juice in a long time, but I still remember the days. I don't know, maybe I'm just old now. I remember the days, like for fast food, for example. You know, I remember like Arby's used to have like 5 for 5 roast beef sandwiches. You know, like those days are long gone. That was a while ago. Same thing, 5 for 5 Whoppers. Now one Whopper is like $8, you know, and the meat has gotten smaller. Um, Vegetables, salads are extremely expensive. You go to a restaurant, you get a nice salad, it's like $15. Sometimes $18, $20 for a salad. Costs as much as a steak. Makes you, makes you wonder why you're eating a salad in the first place. Um, yeah, I mean, just these are just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's hard. It's hard to eat out with a family of 4 and be under like $80 after tax and tip, right? Like unless you're just eating really cheap, but every meal is like $80 or $100 if we go out. Yeah, $5 footlongs, throw that out the window. There's no more $5 footlongs. Yeah. Ooh, those were the days. Why would you tip every time when you go out to eat? Are you kidding? What kind of question is that? All right, guys. Let's conclude. This is not going to get better. Okay. So we'll see what Powell does this next FOMC meeting. Some very damning things that came out from Caroline. SBF is one bad mofo. And you know what? It's okay because Bitcoin is getting stronger and that's not going to change. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Good night. Bye-bye.